OMG, I'm back. I had a good morning. So hi, everyone. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel. Dominic, the CX guy. You can see it here. I am a Zendesk consultant. I've been one for the past 8 years. I have been a Zendesk partner for the past 2 years. I have been subcontracted by Zendesk to work on various projects as well. And I have a Zendesk certification. I have been in customer experience for about 14 years. So yeah, enough about me. I'm here to continue the discussion about Zendesk setup, how to set up your Zendesk from scratch. And yeah, this is a part of my YouTube series, my personal ambitions to becoming a YouTuber. And yeah, and also a part of giving knowledge, sharing knowledge for free. So consider subscribing if you enjoy these videos. It would help me a lot. It would also help the algorithm push this further to other people who are looking for Zendesk setups. I have a playlist which is called Zendesk Setup, which you can find somewhere around here in your YouTube playlist, in your YouTube, so you can watch these one by one. I know these are long. I know these can tend to be boring, but yeah, it is what it is. This is a tedious job and it is somewhat boring. Yeah, the attention to detail is key, and doing it right is very important. So I'm here to share how to do it right to be ahead of 90% of companies using Zendesk and companies that offer amazing customer service. So yeah, without further ado, I will be sharing my screen. I will be showing you where we are. We do a very quick recap about where we are, what we've covered so far, what is to come next, and afterwards we go into a slide deck where we have some theoretical and best practices. Then we jump into Zendesk to see what it looks like. And then, yeah, there's the other part of homework, which nobody wants to do, but yeah, that's part of the doing it right. So if you're not committed, then no, maybe this is not the right approach for you. Stay hydrated all the time. So today we're going to be discussing chat, Zendesk chat, and how to install it. And we'll be going through yeah, some of the capabilities that Zendesk chat, the native Zendesk chat offers. And we will also discuss, well, not in today's lesson. In the next lesson, we'll be discussing Agent Workspace, which is the new feature from Zendesk, the new kid on the block. Well, it's not so new, but anyway, it's still being worked on, which is a functionality, which is the future. I will talk about it in greater detail. And then, then the other channels, so social messaging and chatbots, which is very tied in with what we're doing today. So sharing my screen to show you where we are first, what we've covered, small recap, and then what we'll be covering today. Apologies about making these videos uncut and unedited. This is very much a simulation of what a meeting with me would be like, where real life has no takebacks, no no video editing. So it is what it is. So share my screen. Here we go. So this is where we are. All the check marks in green have been already done. So as I mentioned, we do a learn or discovery phase first, where we find out about what your company, what your company does, why it does things the way it does them, and how it does them the way it does them. Then we go through some business flows, where we collect everything, your business processes or your use cases, or whatever you want to pass through Zendesk or your customer service tool. Then we take whatever we learn along with the training, and then we do discovery sessions where we take your business flows, we translate them into process flows, like diagrams, like what goes where. And then from that, we derive some business rules and everything that has to do with your setup. And then we start the design phase, right? Where we take everything that we've learned about you and we translate those into Zendesk features and Zendesk setups. And we've gone through a general walkthrough of everything that we've discussed in here. Then we did the people setup. These are, by the way, lessons that you can find in the playlist that I mentioned earlier. Then the ticketing setup around everything around, setting up your ticketing, your data collection, forms, ticket fields, and productivity like macros and multi-language support. Then we got into channels. We did email already, so we covered that in the previous lesson, and now we're doing chat. And yeah, next lessons are going to be agent workspace and social messaging. And yeah, and then these all of these others. Okay, so let's do chat. Let's mark it as done already. All right, so let's close our Evernote. Okay, so as we normally do, we have a slide deck, right, from which we start. We discuss here the best practices and a little bit of theoretical, and we jump into Zendesk, see what the configuration looks like from an administrator's perspective, admin's perspective, agent's perspective, and then from a customer's perspective, because essentially we're trying to make everyone's lives easier, right? So the easier and more fun everyone's interaction with Zendesk is, the better it is for everyone, right? So happy admins means happy agents means happy customers. So let's jump in. Okay. So today we're going to be doing another design phase workshop, which we're going to discuss the channel, chat channel design, and then agent workspace. Agent workspace is going to come into a secondary lesson, but they are very tied in with one another because some of the settings that you can do in chat also get reflected in agent workspace. So yeah, let's continue. So meet the team. Yep, yours truly. Agenda for today. So yeah, first lesson, the chat is going to be probably around an hour, maybe less, because there's just me talking, right? And then there's usually an interaction, the interactive conversation, which is a back and forth and an open discussion of how and why we should do things different, or how we should approach setting up your Zendesk. And usually it's 2 hours because given that it's an open discussion where it's not just two people, maybe it's more. Project sponsor, project decision maker, the project, whoever is the project lead, and whoever is going to be working in Zendesk is going to be present. So yeah, that's going to reflect in an open conversation. So the objective is to identify the right setup for your chat. As I mentioned, I will be going through what the chat offers in Zendesk, given that every business is different, and depending on in which niche or niche you activate, the setup can differ, right? Because you can have a very fast interactive type of approach, right, with chat, which is a in the moment type of interaction with your customers, where somebody comes forth with a request and then you solve it then and there, right? If you can't do it, but that's not necessarily what usually happens, you take it via email, which is another setup which I talk about in another video. So when you have this fast-paced interaction, like for example, you do pizza delivery and you want to chat with someone, right? You have to get the order in 40 minutes or less to the customer, then that's a fast interaction, and the action should be very clear. Whilst, for example, somebody is browsing your website to make a purchase about, I don't know, on a retail, for example. So if you install the chat on a page, for example, on a product page or on the sales page, or on the cart page, then it's a different kind of interaction. So it all depends on what your company does. All right, so what we'll be discussing: guide to set up channel, guide to set up agent workspace. Again, that's a different lesson, which we'll be doing. Difference between native chat and agent workspace, and some routing rules. All right, so design session. Again, you are here, we're still here. This is not necessarily reflecting, for example, what we will be doing yeah, chat, which is also the native chat agent workspace. So it's a little bit more than that. I'm giving you more essentially. Okay, and then we have business rules, and then we have the pre-launch. So we're starting to get close to wrapping this baby up, which is amazing. All right, so session approach, you all know this, the deck, this deck, go into the system, then you do your homework. All right, so here we go. Chat best practices, and then for the design principles. So delay your proactive messages to give customers a chance to fill out the pre-chat form, right? So when you set up your Zendesk chat, you want to collect some information. You'd want to collect some information about your customers. So it's good practice to collect some information from them with pre-chat. There's a pre-chat form available where you can ask for a name, email, and then you can also ask them to choose a department to be directly forwarded to, right? So depending on your setup, this is where what I initially started the discussion. I started a few slides up, where I said that depends on your business setup. The chat can be different. So in this case, for example, if you want to have a more direct conversation with the customer and know a little bit more about them, then you want to have this pre-chat form. If you want to have, for example, a more fast-paced interaction with your customers, then you don't necessarily would need this pre-chat form, but it is best practice to have one nonetheless. So another suggestion would be to send visitors different chat messages based on their location, right? So when you do the setup, somebody told me that I use this filler word, right? So I'm going to try to avoid doing it. So when you send visitors a different message, a chat message based on their location, it depends on, for example, this different time zone. It can differ. Obviously, the language in which you transmit it, obviously, it has to be in the language that the user is speaking or is requesting the chat in. So you have to offer support in multiple languages, because users tend to be happier when you provide support in their native language. Identify and track what web page or page a customer was on when they started a chat. You have this information available, and you can report on it, and you can see exactly where the customer has tried to interact with you. Now, this feeds into a bit more intelligence, which I will go over in just a bit. But in essence, if you install your chat on all the pages of your website, of your main website, whichever business that might be activating in, if you do that, then you would want to have a reporting on where the chat is initiated from, right? Because I'm using right again. If you know which pages that the customer is writing from, then you can make their interaction more meaningful. You can add more information on that page to answer some of the questions that they're coming up with. So if they are reaching out from the cart page saying, I can't make a purchase, then maybe you dig in to see what you can improve on that cart page to help them make that purchase. Or if many of them come from the home page and not from anywhere else, then maybe that would indicate that you don't have a very intuitive navigation to send them to different pages that you want them to, right? So conversion, right? Convert them to perform some of the actions that you want them to, convert them to buy, convert them to go to the product page, convert them to ask for a quote, convert them to visit the services page. I don't know whichever that might be, that action which is relevant to you might be. So once you find out, for example, if you have a big website and this happens very much on retailers that sell electronics, mostly, which I've done 1,000 of them. Well, not 1,000, but it feels like it. I've done it quite many times, where users get lost on product pages, and there's a lot of products to navigate on, right? There's companies with thousands upon thousands of products that they sell, and you want to be mindful where you put this chat page, because if you put it on all pages, then it can be very confusing and agents wouldn't be able to really get what is going on. You want to be more focused on where you install it to be, to have a tactic, to have a strategy in place. If you want to sell, if you want to focus on selling, you put the chat widget on the sales page, you put it on the product page, you put it on the cart page, you make a strategy. You don't just put it anywhere, and then customers are going to be confused and are going to confuse you even more. So their confusion is actually your initial confusion of how it has been set up. So yeah, as I mentioned, set it on the payment page, on the product page, on the onboarding page, because you want them to start using your app. And maybe you don't put your chat widget again on the homepage, so you distract. How do I register? Well, you go to the sign up page. Whilst you could just maybe have a pop-up says, "Yay, start registering," or yeah, in the copy of the page, send them to indicate that you should they should sign up. And then on the sign up page, you have a chat which helps them a step by step. For example, working with fintech companies, there's a especially, for example, in the crypto universe, which I have quite many projects on, I'm working on in the crypto sphere because I like it. There's quite a number of steps to do in order to onboard, and because it's an online bank and it's being regulated more and more, which I love because it needs regulation. I don't like the dodginess of it. So in this step-by-step navigation, you get a lot of actions are required from the user, and then sometimes they get lost and they don't know how to perform those actions. So it's good to have a chat to help them. Also, very, very important, and this is aimed at you guys that are doing retail, or that are selling services, or that are selling products. The customer is 3 times more likely to make a purchase if there's somebody there to assist them. So be very mindful of that. Create proactive chat triggers for customers to enter personal information, right? So start giving hints into what you want from the customer, right? So, hey, do you want to know a little bit more about our product? Hey, do you have your bill? Do you have your invoice at hand with your client number? Right? So this gives them an indication on how to prepare on when they need to interact with you, because you essentially save some time for your agents to perform all this interaction, which could be avoided with very intelligent type of interactions and key interaction points along the customer journey, which makes it easier for your customers, and it makes it obviously a lot easier for your agents. If you make it easier for your agents, then they solve the request faster, which means that you reduce agent time, which means that you save agent time, which is saving the customer time, which results in customers being happy. And if you make customers happy, that means there's more revenue. And because you've saved some agent time, that can reduce company costs as well, because that reduces the headcount. Oh, all right. I get passionate about these things because I like them. All right. Auto reply to a customer, requesting a chat when your queue is large. So a customer is there, you have quite a big queue. So for example, working on with Black Friday companies that offered a lot of discounts, and Black Friday, like with Ted Baker, working with them, they were preparing for this Black Friday event. So you want to let the customer know how long it's going to take you to get back to them. You want to set the right expectations. That's part of a good customer service experience. Obviously, everybody wants to get their answer and sorry. This is where the part where I need video editing. Everybody wants to get their answer the minute it comes into their head. They have an inquiry that they need to get solved with your brand, and the moment it comes up in their brain, that's the ideal time when you fix it. But it doesn't work like that. So customers tend to be satisfied when you set the right expectations, right? So if you tell them like, yeah, it's going to take 3 minutes to get to you, and that's fine. Nobody's going to lose their shit if you set the right expectation. So yeah, be mindful of that, setting up expectations. So you give them auto reply and they're requesting a chat, and there's a lot of traffic. Tag offline chats to show what web page they were submitted from. Again, this feeds into what we've discussed earlier, like where identify and track where customers submit requests from. And this is good if you add a tag as well, is because you are able to create business rules. And if you create business rules, and then you can, yeah, perform a whole lot of actions around it and be more efficient. Now, if you want to read more, there's this startup guide, which you can read more about in here. Now, for the Zendesk chat for people, some design rules. So you can create departments. You should create departments and roles for your users as you would for your Zendesk support. So this looks a lot like what we've discussed in a previous lesson in support, where we discussed on how to create roles for your customers. Sorry, for your staff. Create roles for your staff to give them access to different kind of information. They should see tickets that have been, or chats that have been assigned just to them, or just to the departments, or see all the chat requests into the system. And departments as well, exactly like you would in support. So divide them by location, divide them by skill level, divide them by, yeah, functions. Depends what your business is like. And this is obviously what is covered in with this slide. Now it's your turn. Tell me what is it about? So yeah. And then scheduling, very important, should be done based on where your support agents are located. There is this company, so it's a fintech company. It's located in Berlin, Germany, but it offers support in multiple languages, and it spans across I think 4 time zones. Yes, 4 time zones. So these 4 time zones are covered by agents that are all hired in Berlin and working in the Berlin Central Europe time zone. So it makes sense to keep to not necessarily set different schedules if you have everyone working in the same time zone, because usually this is what happens. You hire, once you start growing, at least when you're in a startup phase, you have people living in the same time zone, and then you expand and hire teams in different other time zones, and that's where you start creating another schedule, which is reflective of when you offer support to your customers, right? Even if, for example, you do offer, your agents that are offering support are located in the same time zone, and you create different schedules for them, right? So you have a workforce management tool, which is something like Workday, or another similar tool, which I won't go into. Zendesk doesn't have that yet, but you would do that by some other means, which I can help you with integrating. And you would do that separation, like for example, this workforce management, like somebody should start at 7 a.m. CET, so Central Europe time, so they can cover, yeah, somebody in a different time zone, which is, I don't know, let's say Eastern Europe. Or for example, if it's a CET, they have to start 1 hour later to cover UK time, so British time. So it's different. It all depends on how, yeah, where you offer support in. As always, less is more. So opt for simplicity. Always, yeah, the rule of thumb: don't try to overcomplicate things, especially when you're starting out. Even if you're having a large team, opt for things to be clear and not necessarily overcomplicate them with flows, which can, yeah, give you more headache than they would give you productivity. Create an escalation process, very important. Like if an agent doesn't know how to deal with the request, what happens next? Like who do they escalate to? Do they escalate to their team leader? Do they escalate to their colleague, which is sitting right next to them? Yeah, this is something which you have to keep in mind. Use pre-chat form yeah, that's what I mentioned a little bit earlier as well. So offer customers the ability to choose a department to be routed to make everything a little bit smoother, and yeah, more streamlined. So it's also feeds into the simplicity. Route a chat to a department based on the country the visitor is chatting from, and then the agents supporting that group can yeah, can deal with that request. So also very important. This is yeah, again, feeding into that simplicity department based on the country the visitor is chatting from. So more a little bit more simpler, rather than having like a tier 1, tier 2, or having a um, general support group, and that's it, right? So you start with just a general support group, and then you start getting confused. Try to create a department, try to be analytical, try to think about where you will be in 6 months from now, try to think about where you're going to be in a year, 3 years from now. So don't think small. It's never too late to start thinking about the future and yeah, making an investment in your future. All right, now comes the part where it's your turn. You tell me about your setup, what you think, what would work, what wouldn't work. And yeah, so what we do next is we go into Zendesk. So we log in and see exactly what Zendesk chat, the native chat, has to offer. So here we go, Zendesk. This is our support tool. And we go to our chat from here. Okay, so I am now logged into the Zendesk native chat. Well, native is a good word, but this has been created by Zopin, which is an application which built this chat interface for Zendesk. But yeah, and then it was bought by Zendesk a few, yeah, maybe like 5 years ago. So it has its own interface still. I mean, it is part of Zendesk, but then again, yeah, not so much. Like, check it out. Settings in here, and then settings in here. Not the same, but yeah, it is the native function nonetheless. And it is going to come a time, there's going to come a time where this is going to go away and Agent Workspace is going to take over, which is another lesson, the next lesson that we're going to be doing. So stay tuned. Okay, so Zendesk chats, and first off, yeah, so we have the invisible, the statuses in which a chat agent is identified, so, or the statuses by which the chat agent is identified. So online, away, or invisible. Right now I'm invisible, and we'll be doing some tests and we'll see what happens. In here, yeah, we have a quick dashboard, and then yeah, we go straight into the meaty part. So visitors, whoever is on your website. I don't have anyone right now, but I think I can do one. So if I can do Dominic and go to my, here we go. Here we are. Here's the guy. So I have my chat enabled on my website on Dominic CX. And here it is. Here's the guy. We know the country. I'm currently in Romania visiting, well, it's currently staying put to contain the the Corona beast, but yeah, usually either Berlin or Spain, or Tenerife, Spain, because that's where I like. And yeah, that's another story. Anyway, so these are my active users that I can go on and I can, yeah, I can click and I can take over. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm still invisible, so I don't want to do that. I'm going to walk you through the left-handed menu and what it can do. But yeah, this is what happens. If you would have like however many people would be on your website, you'd be able to see them in here and you'd be able to, yeah, scroll through them. You have a history, yeah, the history of interactions, what has happened in your chat interface. Then you have some analytics that you can look over. I don't have too many because this is just a test account. So a lot of the chats that are being started in here are, yeah, just tests. So this is would be much more reflective if we'd have some activity. Monitor, yeah, this is real-time monitoring, and it's a really cool feature that you can use. So yeah, this one looks really cool, and it's available to you to use. Right now it's blank, but I really like it. This is very good to have in companies that I've noticed that use it. They put it on a big screen so all the team can see it, and yeah, it's a sort of a productivity type of, yeah, let's do it. And then the settings. So as I was mentioning, so in here I have some agents, and I have my list of agents right now. I have 5 available. I have 4 added in here. I have way too many administrators because it's just performing tests. And yeah, much like in the support interface, this is why I'm not going to insist. Much like in the support interface, you perform the same action. So if you haven't seen the support bit, go and see that video. Much in the same way you'd be creating a team member. I created Bernie earlier. I added an email for them, and I can add them either as an agent or as an administrator. Don't use as many administrators as I have in here. We are all performing tests and doing demos for clients. So this is why we're administrators. Have a clear process on who should be able to make changes inside the chat as well as in your support, because yeah, if you enable too many people to make changes, then it becomes a little bit unproductive, because everyone, to their best, obviously with their best intentions, but they try to improve the system and they create unnecessary work, or work that settings that affect other parts of the system which they're unaware of. So limit that to as few people as possible. Departments, these are the departments that are currently available in my support, but not all of them are available for chat. So if you see this checkbox, these are the only ones that are being available in chat. So the other ones are not. So let me take this, if you remember this German group that I created a while back in support, I'm going to go ahead and open it, and I can just enable it in chat, and I can save it. And here it is. Now it's available, and it's you are able to choose from it in a pre-chat form. We'll be going over the pre-chat form in just a bit. You can add another department if you want. So this is all pretty intuitive, and the department is the same as a group. So I know there's maybe the discrepancy of the name, but once you have a little bit of back and forth, you'll be on your feet in no time, and you'll understand these roles again. So adding a role, much like in support, you choose obviously a name and description, and then you have some features which you either allow or don't. So list and visualization. So visitors seen, all visitors, all people, sorry, chats in my department and the department that I'm a member of as an agent, or personally serving chats that I'm personally serving. Only chats that have been assigned to me, nothing else. Visitor information. So how much do I want? How much do I want to give my agents? How much power do I want to leave into my agents? I can edit username, email, and phone, and can edit notes. Yeah, why not? History, I can see all chats or the chats in my department, personal or none, no history whatsoever. If I can edit chat tags, no, because this would be done automatically, and the more you leave it to agents, then the more creative they become, with obviously, again, with the best intentions. But if not everyone's aligned with what tags should be used, like the specific names of the tags and not variations from them, then yeah, everything becomes a shebang, not helpful. If I allow, so in this role, do I allow visitor banning? Like, do I let my agents temporarily ban some users who are being yeah, rude, which can happen. It's very common actually. Analytics, do I want to show them a little bit of analytics so they can see performance? Yes or no? I leave that to team leaders and administrators for now, because agents can be affected. Like if they're not performing in the best manner, then that would affect the rest of their the rest of their performance. Obviously, this is depends like what kind of company your company culture is like. Obviously, some people react better to like the, oh, you're doing bad, you should do it better. And obviously there's this conversation to be had. So people get ambitioned by, yeah, by fear, which I don't know what kind of company you're running, but yeah, that's all to each what is most effective. I'm not going to comment on that. Can view real-time metrics on monitor, right? So the monitor feature in here. Agent management, so can edit agents and departments. No, leave that to the administrator. In my view, agent chat limits, can set chat limits for agents if chat limits are enabled. We'll go over that in just a second. And shortcuts, yeah, what do I want? Do I want to add the ability to see all shortcuts by department that I'm a member of as a chat agent, or personal, the ones that I've created for myself, or I can just see none? No, just leave them all. Like, we want to leave the ability only if you have large teams, like for example, the body shop, which is a project which had quite many upwards of 500 agents, so 100 and something, 150 groups, which, yeah, can become problematic. So imagine the number of shortcuts that they would need there. And because every setup or every department had its intricacies usually, and different languages support in different languages, then they would need to create a lot of shortcuts. In that respect, if you just make them available to departments, then it would be a little bit less confusing, because, yeah, using shortcuts, at least in this native chat, you're not able to use dynamic content, which is, if you remember, it's that feature from Zendesk which allows you to offer multi-language support via those placeholders which you can use. In here, it's not available, and I'm afraid. Okay, moving on. Routing. So this is one of the most important parts of your setup for your chat. You have two types of chat routing. So one is assigned and the other one is broadcast. So broadcast is agents are notified of all incoming chat requests and serve chats from a shared queue. So they're all being pinged like, hey, there's a chat available, and they pick them up from the queue. You can set up a chat limit on the agent level or on the account level. So this means I advise to keep it on the account level. Depends and also depends, like if your team is becoming more skilled, then you can upgrade this number to 4, or you can upgrade it to 5. But if you want to, when you start out, this is best practice, just to have 3 concurrent chats for agents to offer support in. And then once you start, for example, expanding, then you can think about using it at the agent level, because some agents will be more skilled, so they will be able to take on more chats in the same time, and they can also maybe help out someone else. Okay, so reset this, and then assigned. This is something which the routing option which automatically assigns the chats to online agents. So whoever is online, this type of approach is automatically assigning incoming chats to them. I recommend that you use the assign. So broadcast is great, but assign is a little bit more in depth, and you can use it with the hybrid assignment. I'll tell you what that is about in a second. So let's go over the options in here. So skill routing. So maximum wait time for for a customer is going to be 30 seconds. So if they wait for 30 seconds and they are not being taken by someone, this is going to be sent to someone else. And you can turn this off or you can leave it on. I think it's good to keep on, but you have to create skills. So skills in Zendesk, skill-based routing is a great feature. You can use mostly, I'd recommend that you use it for language. This is the starting point, like the baseline. So if you're offering support in multiple languages, use like French skill, English skill, German skills, and then an agent can have multiple skills. An agent can have German capabilities and English capabilities. Another agent can have French skills and then English skills. So you can play around with this very, very nicely. Now, the chat limitation in here is amazing, because if you, as I mentioned, like once you start scaling, some of your team is going to be more experienced, and they're going to be able to provide support for more users in a more, let's say, more effective fashion. So in that sense, you can set the agent skill level on the agent profile. So you can set how many chats they can take on concurrent, like within the same time. So they can take up maybe 4, maybe 5 at the same time. That all depends on your team. And then this hybrid assignment, this is amazing, because agent can serve unassigned chats when they have reached their chat limit. So for example, I have my chat limit to 3, but I'm starting to be quite good, and I am able to now maybe go into the queue and take more, because I am, I'm waiting for a reply from these 3 people that have helped me reach my limit, and then I can go and pick up more and help my team, right? So this hybrid assignment is amazing, and I recommend that you use it, because it's very effective, and it gives also possibility for your team to be more, let's say, in a sort of a flow. It creates a sort of a flow, and it gives a little bit more freedom, and it's it's a little bit more engaging in my view. Then reassignment. So after 15 seconds, do we reassign a ticket if the agent doesn't if they don't engage? So very good feature to do. So somebody else can maybe have a little bit more space within their schedule, and they can take up this skill. They can take up this chat request, which this other agent can't pick up. And then idle. So after 3 reassign chats, then the agent status is idle, or is going to be away or invisible, right? So it makes no sense for an agent if they miss 3 chats, then that means that they're being hung up on something. They have forgotten to put themselves offline. They have been, I don't know, they're gone to take a cup of coffee and they spilled some coffee, and they're not able to take chats. So it's no reason into infuriating our users. Just put them offline so we don't serve them anymore chats. Let me save this. Okay, summary of what has been set up. Now, my shortcuts, the ones that I've been ones that I can use, shortcuts are, so these options, for example, are not going to be available in the agent workspace anymore. So you can create a lot of shortcuts in here. Tags, and there you can create these options like is it this or is it that? And but you can't do that in agent workspace. Another thing you can't do, as I mentioned, you can't use placeholders for the multi-language support. But anyway, that's another lesson. So now bands, like I can add visitor to my band list. Triggers. Okay, so routing. Okay, so before we go, let me talk to you about triggers and why these are important. So you create business rules, and I'm going to walk you through one of which is my favorite, and it can help you improve your productivity greatly. But before I do that, hydration. So after you've chosen where you want to install your chat widget on, like which page you think it's best that you install it on, and you can start thinking about being proactive, not reactive. You don't put out fires, you try to prevent them. So in this, for example, you install your chats on the sales page. So you want to just greet your visitors, or for example, they are on the on the product page, on a products page, and you have some discounts there, or you have some special offers, right? So you want to make a sale, you can just maybe want to have a interaction like a pop-up which says, hey, do you want to learn about our discounts? Because yeah, obviously you're on this page, which would make sense for you to, if you're interested in, maybe you want to buy at a discount, so why not? So let's see this greet our visitor, which is one which I've created. So I've given it a name, I've given it a description. So send message to a new visitor that lands on your site after 10 seconds. So fire only once per visitor, right? So you don't want to be annoying. You want to, yeah, remember how if the same user has been treated, you don't want to to always reach out to them. Okay, so this is now start my conditions. So run the trigger when a visitor has loaded the chat widget, or when a visitor requests a chat, or when a chat message is sent. No, in this case, I just want to run it when a visitor has loaded the chat widget, which means that they have opened the web page and the chat widget has just loaded at the bottom right or bottom left, depends on where you put it. Check conditions, like check all of the following conditions, or check any of these conditions. No, in this case, I just want to check all of these conditions. So I want my visitor, if they're still on the site for 10 seconds, visitor previous visits equals 0, meaning that if my visitor has been on my website, and if they've been on my website, then I don't show this message. But equals 0 means that previous visits, that means that they have not been on my website. So this is where this is a condition which I want to keep in mind, so I don't become overbearing or stressful to my customer. I want to be as less inquisitive as possible. Visitor requesting a chat is false, so they have not yet requested my chat. Visitor served is false, meaning that again, I have not served them yet. And then send message, and the name is going to be Chris. I'm going to say that this is the agent's name, and then hi there, would you like to details about our discount? So this is a pop-up which says, yeah, you should know about our discounts. So I'm not going to save it because it's already been saved. All right, I want to see how this works in action. So let's go in and let's open a page on a different browser, which is maybe Safari. All right, so let's open Safari. Let's go to our page. And here we go. So this is my page, right? So I have some offers in here, why you should choose me, get a quote, some information, see me on the page, etc. Okay, so this is my widget, right? So first off, nothing happens. Nothing happens because none of my agents are online. If nobody is online, then I have a form which the customer can fill out, right? So that means that nobody is available, which is, yeah, clear as day. I don't want to offer any support if nobody's available via chat, right? So I just want them to maybe, if they want to reach out to me, yeah, they fill out a form. They tell me what services that they want. Yeah, Zendesk optimizations, Zendesk setups, Zendesk integration, backend integration, consultancy, guide customization, app development, Zendesk Sunshine, or something else. So I just want them to reach out to me via a form. Okay, so this is what happens if I am not available. But what I want to do now is I want to put myself available. And here we go. So now I am available, which means that this little puppy has changed to chat now because somebody's available and can chat to me, can talk to me, right? So I am here on the page and I have my chat available, and this would look something like this. I have a pre-chat form, which I have not gone over, and I apologize. I wanted to go through this afterwards, but I am going to show you what that looks like in just a quick second. So I can now request a chat, but I have to fill in this pre-chat form because I want to know who my user is and what they want from me. So that's not what I wanted to show you right now. What I wanted to show you right now is that if I take this, remember that trigger that I want us to look at to be proactive. That only activates if my visits are equal 0, right? So if they are not 0, then that means that I've been on the website and that proactive message shouldn't appear. So I want that to just be directed to users that have come on my page for the first time. So I'm going to open a private window and I'm going to open my website again. So now I'm just going to be here. So I'm simulating as if I'm a first-time visitor, right? So I'm browsing, I'm looking at the thing. I like what I see. That's amazing. Oh, a pop-up. What is this? Hi there. Would you like to find out more details about our discounts? Well, don't mind if I do. Well, don't mind if I do. Ah, mind if I do. Trying to be cute. Oh, okay. I don't know if you heard that, but that is a chat request. And here we go. Here is what it looks like from an agent's perspective. So here it came up. I'm taking it. Chris has said, hi there, would you like to know more about our discounts? Don't mind if I do. So this is what the chat interface looks like for an agent, right? So I don't have a name because I have not asked any information from them. I just have a visitor, whatever. So now I would have a shortcut and I would ask for a name, right? Like, who are you? I don't want to type every time, like name. I don't have that shortcut set up, but I can activate them with the /, and I can say, yeah, these are my discounts. Yes, we certainly do. We have special discounts from Samsung and Nikon. Right, so now let's go back to our Safari. And here we go. Hi, visitor. This is the name that I have for this user, right? So in essence, I should have asked for the name. I should have had a shortcut, asked for the name, but I have given them the shortcut to say, yeah, these are the discounts available. So what are you interested in? Interested in Samsung or Nikon? I'm interested in a Samsung discount, please. Or I'm interested in obviously like a Zendesk optimization. But I'm letting you, yeah, just see the capabilities and you can decide that for yourself. Okay, so they want a Samsung. Very good. I love that. Okay, cool. So as you've noticed, like the tags have been added to my visitor. I can add them a name and say Johnny boy, Johnny. Email, I don't have an email for them, not a visitor. Tag, I can add some more tags. What else can I do? I can see their profile. I can see how many times they've been here. They haven't been. Past chats, no. Times on site, 2 minutes. I can see their profile. I can change their language. I can see their location, a little bit more information, like the browser, type of OS that they have. And I can also have available in here some chat apps. There's quite a few chat apps available in the Zendesk marketplace, and you can install them in here. And there's plenty of them to enhance your experience. Like you can use, for example, you can get fetch macros from inside your support. You can use there is an app which translates dynamic content, but it doesn't work very well. It works well, but it doesn't work super well. I mean, it just covers this use case where you have a few dynamic contents which can work, but if, for example, you add them in this proactive message, then they don't work. So it's, yeah, quite, anyway, you can find, for example, chats in here in the chat app. You can install and create actually a custom app to integrate with your backend. So somebody reaches out and you have their name and you have their number. or you have their email, you can just go back to the back end and pull information from do we have any information about this email address, and then display it in here. And then the agent can be empowered and they can help solve this request faster. Okay, so after I'm done, I can ask for a rating. So yeah, obviously choosing to use emojis, bringing in an attachment, and I can ask for a rating for my customers. So send. Oh, it doesn't work. My mouse doesn't work. So send. Okay, so now we're asking for a rating. Go back in here, rate this chat. Okay, it was a good experience. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Pretty goof. Send. All right, good. Now it's back. Here we go. Positive experience. Chat was good. Johnny commented. It was pretty good. All right, nice. So now what I can do, some actions, I can transfer to another department. I can export a transcript. I can ban the visitor, or I can translate the chat. So I'm done with it for now. Just I can add some tags if I want, but I don't. And chat. Oh man, why is it working? My mouse. I hate this mouse. Here we go. Alrighty. What I wanted to show you was routing. No, in shortcuts. I wanted to show you the pre-chat form. Here we go. Departments. Aha, here we go. So create the pre-chat form. We're going to skip goals because this is, yeah, something which is not very relevant right now. It's we're going to go directly to chat widget and settings. So getting started, yeah, this is, so you take this, you copy it, and then you go into your header of the header of your website, you paste it in there, and your chat will be appearing. There's if you want to offer support in multiple languages, you have to do a little bit of configuration to this to display it in the user's language. Usually this happens by default, but there are some situations where you want to force the, for example, German version of the widget to be displayed, so it can be, you can only serve, for example, articles from the knowledge base within directly in that language, or the form can be directly in German, and then the support agents are from Germany, for example. So you can do that. Then the appearance of it, right? So give it a title. You can create a badge. So image right, image left, text only, custom image. So you can the badge. So how do you want to make it look like? The background color, a message, chat with us. You can choose an image from the gallery. You can make it. Yeah, it can give it quite. You can do quite the. Yeah, say how you can change it. So you can customize it and make it more personal. Yeah, so this is the concierge version of the chat widget where you can, yeah, see how this looks like, ask us everything. So you can customize and make it look more personal. Display agents and visitors avatars, yeah, if you want, but it looks a little bit more yeah, intuitive if you let them put their picture and make it look nice. So more personal you make it, and the nicer it looks, yeah, the better the customer experience. Now forms, yes, please save this. All right, so forms, visitor profile, allow phone number, yes or no, allow social login, yes, that's very very useful. So you don't necessarily have to pull in that information yourself. You just allow them to log in with their Facebook or their Google. Either one is fine. And then you have a pre-chat form. So this pre-chat form is what we've shown earlier, which is very good, very useful to enhance the customer experience. Because you have a name, right? You know who they are, and then you can have an email. Visitor must provide their identity name before, right? So this can be optional. Visitors are required to choose a department. So you can ask to be directly sent to a department. So it's much easier to, yeah, so you don't necessarily lose time in reading a chat request and noticing that you have to transfer it to someone else. Because obviously, the more time you spend on the chat request, the more frustrated the customer can be. So if you ask them for a little bit of information to begin with, then you can more efficiently help them. And for example, if you require their identity, if you have an integration with your backend system, which I can help you with, I've done over 50 backend integrations. These are kind of my specialty, and I will cover that in a special lesson in the future. If you require their identity, then you receive the chat, the integration in the chat interface goes to your backend, pulls on the information from their backend, shows it to the agent, and then the agent can support the customer faster with a little bit more context. They know more information about the customer profile, since when they've been a client, when was the last purchase, customer ID, whichever information is relevant. Choose department, and then there's an offline form. So this is best when nobody's available, right? So you can leave them an offline message and tell them like, yeah, sorry, nobody is online at the moment. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. So you can make this as personal as you like, make it, yeah, give it your own spin, give it your own wording, so it makes more sense to you. So I hope this looks cool to you. I wanted to show you how the pre-chat form looks like. So pre-chat form, yes, it's on, and I think I had it in here. So Dominic CX. All right. So if I request a chat, all righty. So who is you? Who are you? I'm Johnny again. My email is whatever, this one, and I choose a department, and I'm going to choose the German group that we created in support, and we enabled in chat just earlier. Why is my product not arriving? I'm a big baby and I can't wait 5 minutes. Here we go. And then we have a chat request, and here's Johnny again, right? Johnny, email German group directly, right? So we directly know we have a lot of information about this user. We can see past previous tickets because Johnny's been quite the active user and has been really trying to ask for a lot of support within our system. So now we know that he's directly in the German group, and we should, yeah, take care of them. All right, Johnny, never mind. Just give us a rating and we're good. Yep, still happy. Thanks. All right. So that was that. That was the pre-chat form. That was the chats, widgets, features, and setups. What else? Settings. Yeah, save these, sure. There's some additional settings to be done. So play sounds from the visitor when the new message is received, and enable satisfaction ratings. Yes, definitely ask for feedback every chance you get. And then, yeah, block countries if you want to do, allow domains, visitor authentication. So this is all self-explanatory, I hope. Where you can block some of countries if you don't want users to come in, but that's not very nice of you, is it? Or it is, I don't know, not judging. And then you have some personal settings, right? So this is all reflecting of your agent account and what you like to be presented like, right? So you can put in, yeah, edit your profile a bit, change your name, put a picture, please make it more personal, the better. I can set the chat limits that I can take, right? So this is me setting up um, the routing based on assigned, so the assigned type of routing. And I allowed agents to choose for themselves how many chats that they can take. I can add the skills. So I have French skills. I can also have German skills. I can use shortcuts. I can have offline messages and yeah, chat updates. Support email, sounds and notification, idle timeout, email reports if I want to see weekly reports sent every Sunday to, yeah, see what has been going on. I get everything from this analytics, which I set up or monitor, and they can send it to my account. And then, yeah, this is available for administrators only. I am also the uh, I am also the account owner, so I have this available. Ticket creation. Okay, this is very important. So if you want to automatically create tickets within the system, or you want them manually, transcript visibility, it's public or private. So chat transcript will be incrementally appended to the ticket as a public reply. In this case, it's an internal note, and the customer doesn't have access to it. But with GDPR, I don't know if you want to be so secretive. Ticket assignment, yeah, last agent or first agent. So tickets will be assigned to the last agent who joined the chat or to the first agent who joined the chat. Ticket creation offline, automatic as well, transcript, public, etc. Yes, save. If I want to install some apps, I can go from here, this dynamic content app, which we've seen a little bit earlier on the right-hand side of the screen, which agents are able to use and maybe leverage some dynamic content that you use. If you want to install new apps, you can go to the marketplace, or you can upload a private app. If you need an integration with your backend, I'm your guy. If you need this setup, also I'm your guy. Okay, so I'm not going to continue with this because, yeah, it's all that gets more and more technical. Yeah, I can add some tags, which I can limit my agents to just use these tags, not create any other tags, which is very important. Yeah, to set up my operating hours. Oh, yeah, this is very important. So operating hours, as I mentioned, you can create this from here. You can set it up on the account level or on the department level. So you can add a schedule depending on whichever department that you want, right? So no departments. So again, try to be mindful like where you're offering support. And yeah, if you want, for example, as I mentioned, like if you offer support, multiple time zones, and you have a department dedicated to that time zone, just add that here. This automatically gets assigned against the time zone in which your Zendesk account is, like, where your central team is based, right? So grow granular if you want to improve your customer service. So this is all, again, tailored to your your company's needs. Time zone security, discard. I don't want to save anything time zone. So this is Central European. Some security settings, and then visitor settings. Okay, so that's it with Zendesk Chat. So so that's it for now with Zendesk Chat. I just did a walkthrough of what you can do in it. It all comes down to how your company's your company set up, and this is an open discussion with your consultant, with someone like me, for example, where we discuss best practices, and actually not best practices because we discussed those, but what would fit into your requirements best. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye.